you. I think we're running up to the top of the hour here. I had someone, and I actually come across people a lot with prostate cancer. Someone, Dia wrote in that someone close to me was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I would like to know what your thoughts are on this. You know, they think, hoping that they caught it early. They said their Gleason score was a 4+3 for a total of 7. Are there any specific recommendations to deal with prostate cancer?
Well, let's talk about it in a broad way. And my jury is not in on this particular fact, but I recently read a mainstream medical study from Europe, where they tend to tell the truth a lot more than here, that said they suspect that 60% of the cases of, quote, prostate cancer diagnoses are not prostate cancer. They're enlarged prostate with what we would call in a woman's cervix, as an example, dysplasia, a precancerous condition that most often doesn't develop into cancer. Now, put that aside. I have a sentiment strongly about that waves in that direction, but I can't tell you for sure because I don't have enough good science and experience on that. I can tell you that most of the people that catch prostate early and don't poke into it, don't play with it, can contain it. If you look at the Harvard study, which is really the definitive study from 12 or 13 years ago, they show that over 90% of the men with prostate cancer had high fat in their diet and high fat in their bloodstream. So cholesterols, low-density lipid, etc. And what that means is that the reduction of oxygen, the inclusion of animal fat, saturated fat, which prolapses and distends and extends the colon, which is directly above the prostate, and that distension and extension presses now on that little gland, the prostate, and now creates an inflammatory condition. That's why most enlargement of prostate happen. So once we poke into it, and by the way, Gleason is the only legitimate test on prostate to see if it's cancer. So in the case of a Gleason, it's likely, unless there's been some mistakes made, that this is truly a cancer, because they go in and they pull tissue out and then take it into a laboratory and tell you exactly what it is. So in this particular case, it probably is a cancer. But once they do the biopsy, the potentiality for that darn thing to spread is great. And anyone that would doubt that or deny that is in la-la land. I mean, the truth of the matter is, before the greatest medical technology today can detect cancer, you have to have 5 billion cells, not million, billion cells. And if you already have a cancer, it's certainly much higher than that, and you poke into it, some of those cells aren't going to go somewhere else. And so what I historically see, and I have a lot of experience with this, is it goes into the hip bones, the liver. And so if your uncle is really caring about life and wants to take responsibility, I strongly suggest that rapidly and immediately that they get on the Hippocrates lifestyle, because we've seen a lot of people be able to turn their problems around that way.
My father did, my own father.
Well, there you are.
Well,